Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Yo, everybody, it's Heat-tastic. So let's get to it. Bring the pain! What's up, everybody? It's Heat-tastic, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you and Dr. Roto this week. Ooh, yeah! Man, I'm ready for it. The weekend was great. We're almost halfway through the week, and we're almost to Saturday, which UFC Miami, UFC 14. I mean, we got Volkanovski versus Lopez. Ah, man. So we're going to have an amazing Fight Club of Pain. But first, we got the Heat-tastic review. Man, let's bring the pain, people. Yeah. So I'm gonna go over the entire fight card real quick. Not a lot of tidbits. Of course, me and Dan will talk about that on the Fight Club of Pain. So we will have the fight. Let's just do a little bit of scheduling right now. So of course, I have this podcast. We will have the Fight Club of Pain on Thursday, unless work kind of throws that off. Things happen. You can always get it, but you can expect it by Friday. Check it. Then, of course, Sunday, I will do my review of UFC 314 and my betting articles for the day so far on both Saturday and Sunday. Then, on Thursday next week, I will be a guest on a podcast that is going to have me on for wrestling. It's going to be a WWE-oriented, of course, all of my power rankings that have been coming out and all of my WrestleMania's greatest moments, etc., best titles, just hit, cheap foods, we got it all, man. I've been in it deep, but one thing I've been in really deep is, of course, the NFL draft. So there's a lot of coverage going on at Dr. Roto and at Dr. Roto MSN, so you want to get that in there. Just go right to Google, put that in. And if you haven't been to the site, get to Dr. Roto, use code word DOC, and you can become a rich friend like Trevor. Trevor hit $38,000 off of the article that was on last Thursday. And Thursday was a light day. People, this is what I'm talking about. But if you don't listen, you could be with the next guy or you could be with nobody and you could have no money. But you could be with Dr. Roto, have an amazing crew around you that's in your corner rooting for you. Yeah! Man, I'm like a walking billboard, man. It's just like so much fun doing this. But let's get to it, right? So, of course, I picked Demopoulos over Alan Carr, lost that one. Henry over Falco, won that one. Frunza over McKee. Well, there was a stoppage, and that hurt a lot of my DFS lineups. Unfortunately, it's the way it goes, right? Davey Grant gets the win over Santos. Man, let me just bust that dirt off my shoulder, right? Of course, Osborne took out Garul. I mean, what is going on? Sometimes you're going to have upsets. People, the underdog does win. Most of the time when I go into a fight with anybody that's over 6'2", 6'3", I'm the underdog. But none of those guys have beat me in point fighting. Why? It's because I'm better. That's it. I come from a better school. And I'm not saying that lightly. Of course, everybody that I represent, I do not represent. I speak for only myself and bring the pain. If you got a problem with that, you can find me at point fighting, but I'll be a handful. Unless you're a superhero black belt, and then I might have a problem with you. But I won't be in your division anyway. But when I get there, you better be worried. Yeah! Woo! All right. I mean, it's a fighting podcast. I'm a fighter. We know this, people. I'm going to talk and run my mouth. It's what I do. When you only have 2 losses in over 3 years, that's kind of hard to not do sometimes. I guess I could be humble. But then I wouldn't be running my mouth like I always do on Bring the Pain. So, and that's what I'm trying to use. I'm using that expertise, my fight analysis, the way I break down my opponent in the squared circle is the same way anybody breaks down their opponent in a boxing ring, in an octagon, anywhere in this world that there is a competition going on. You break down your opponent and you win, whether you're the underdog or you're the favorite. So let's get back to it. Torres Finney, my boy, picked up Robert Valentine within the first 20 seconds. All right. Everybody knew this was going to be a funny fight. But yo, bro, you picked that man up and made it like you was running him out of a building on fire, man. Like, You firemen carried that man across the ring and slammed him. Just pick him up and slam him. You don't have to do all the walking, but hey, if you want to work out with a man on your shoulder, and by the way, that man even slumped over his shoulder, was almost still taller than Vinny. I don't even know how he almost got it off. But hey, good job. Got us that money. That's what we got to do. That's what we played you for, right? I picked Tavares over Mearshart. Totally won that. Of course, Boudet won over Satibaldiv. So, whatever. I mean, he was just put on us at the last second. And, of course, I picked Ramius over Lee. I got that one wrong. And I picked Joe Anderson Brito over Sabatini. Now, knew this was a trap, and I said this going in on the Fight Club of Playing, that I felt Pat Sabatini was the problem Duncans of this card. And guess what? He was. Again, I got to stress to all of you people that think a good boxer will beat a wrestler, not in MMA all the time, because when you get in the octagon in the UFC and you get put down and you can't get up, you can't throw punches, you can't score points in DFS, you can't do anything, bro. So, Brito, you sucked, bro. But guess what? You'll have to come back. But the fact that you got put down like that, that just makes me want to even play you even more next time. But you did. You lost me a little bit of money. And that's okay. That's okay. It happens. We had a hot week the previous week. Again, build your bankroll so that when you have weeks that are crazy, like 3 weeks ago. I mean, it wasn't last week, but of course the previous week, that was kind of crazy. But we ran it back with a perfect week. So that's what I'm telling you, is when you do those things, you just make it better. Of course, Emmett versus Murphy. I picked Murphy. I went 8-5 for the entire card. I love it. Everything worked out great. So let's get over to the Five-tastic picks. The Five-tastic picks were Barbosa under 2.5. I did play the first round and second round sub. That was recommended on the Fight Club of Pain. Again, if you're not watching the Fight Club of Pain live on Thursdays around 7:30 on the Dr. Roto Network, I don't know what you're doing. I know that there's 1,000 MMA UFC channels to watch. I watch some of them too. I like some of the guys, the way they talk, and just hearing different fighters. Again, I'm learning this sport, right? It hasn't been one of those things that I watched all the time, like with football and baseball. That's just natural to me. UFC is becoming natural to me. Every time I see a fight, I'm going to get better. And if I'm already doing this good, you can only imagine how I'm going to be breaking down the slates a year from now. You will definitely be our rich friend. Wait till it happens. Wait till one of y'all hit off with one of the UFC lineups, one of us hit, or one of you guys grab one of them parlays and put $100 down on it and win $100,000. That's what's going to happen, right? So let's get to it. Torres, win. DFS, beautiful. Beautiful. I got Henry, win. Under 2.5. Bam. Got it. Brito, knockout. Missed it. Murphy, distance, win. Got it. Bam. 4-1. Putting me at 27-8 since I started the Five-tastic picks. Again, I bring these things up because I want to be transparent. I want to make sure that you know the journey. When I go under 500, you can all laugh at me and stop tuning in. That's not going to happen because I'm more committed than a lot of people think right now. I'm trying to take over this side of the business. I'm not offering a product at Dr. Roto because I think it's cool and fun and I kick ass in my tournaments and I bring home a grand champion. That's who I am. That isn't about this. It's about that competitive sport, that competitive drive in me to bring the pain inside me. That is my life mantra. That is what a lot of it turns people off. I get it. I am an excited ass dude. And I like to have a lot of fun and I like to play some crazy picks. But you saw from this week, Dr. Roto had me, had Trevor, and had Lou on the radio, right? On Sunday. And we got all nuts and we decided to go Detroit. And I missed. That wasn't Doc's miss. That's my miss, right? When I picked Spencer Torkelson to hit home run. However, if you would have went to Dr. Roto and looked at my bets for the day, you will see that I had Spencer Torkelson as an RBI with a home run in highlights, and he got the RBI. Again, and we might as well just review it before I get to the last thing. So my MLB did great. Was it Saturday? All my cash lineups hit. Sunday, 3 out of 5 hit. No, it was 3 out of 4 because the Atlanta game canceled. So I lost the one there. And I gave out 10 bets. So I lost 3 bets there. So, and then, it was a rain out. So that just happens. And I missed my home run props. However, one of my cash guys hit a home run. So again, when we're doing this and I'm trying to give you all these bets, that the next piece is getting to the Subs Only Discord and talking to us. Listen to Dr. Roto on Sirius XM Fantasy from 9 to 11 a.m. Saturday, Sunday. This is what you need to do. If I just give you an ingredient, you need the rest of the ingredients for the recipe. And if you don't go to Dr. Roto, if you don't watch the Fight Club of Pain, if you don't watch all of the content that we put together or read it, then you're going to miss out on something. You're going to miss an edge. And again, not everybody is the same. I'm trying to preach that. At Dr. Roto, we always try to talk about lineup building, build your bank, take your shots, know when to stop, and play safe. That way you don't give the sites their money. Because I do that enough trying to get all this content. Believe me, I put a lot of bets in. A lot hit, a lot miss. But the point is that I'm trying to get all of you the best content, and that's learning this sport. I'm sitting here doing significant strikes now. How many punches, significant strikes are going to be, or is this fighter going to do, right? So I'm going to start doing that. I did it last week. I came up a little short, and that's okay. It happens. I did Tavares. I said 60. So, and I did the average. When he was winning, it was around 70, 80, 90. Even in some of his other ones, he was around 50, 60. The 60 was a positive. I wanted to give it a positive out, not a negative. It's kind of like what I did with the pitching over the weekend too. I went with 6 strikeouts, got a plus. Then I went with 5 strikeouts with another guy on Sunday. Of course, that being Job for the Tigers. He got to 4, and they just got him out. They took him out, and that's just what happened. He was almost at 5, almost hit for us. So, but that's what happens again. So let's get to the Fight Club of Pain. Me and Dan only had 1 out of 4 fights that we actually agreed on. So that fight was, of course, that was Martin Buday. We both thought that him coming in again, I stressed out over and over during that whole podcast that Buday most likely was going to win over Yuran Satibiev. And that happened. And he scored a ton of points for us. He was minimum on the site. I mentioned that I thought FanDuel was going to cancel the site and redo it like they did the previous week because they had got all of the pricing wrong. So that tells you right there that even the sites are practically learning this sport at times if they are making those mistakes. But at the same time, so I picked Brad Tavares. Dan picked Mishart, MC3, right? Dan lost, I won. Then we both picked Martin Buday. We both get a win. We're 1-1. I pick Ramius, and he picks Lee. He just loved Lee. I should have listened. But I just love that. Are you not entertained? So he did not make me broke, but at the same time, I had him in a few places. He was definitely on the DFS lineup that I gave out, but he was in the fight. He just let it get away from him, and then he was tapped. So got over to Emmett versus Murphy. He wanted Emmett. He wanted early knockout, and I got Murphy with the distance. Dan goes 2-2. I go 3-1. Again, I'm just throwing it out there. We went different. Only one like fight, and we both ended up with good picks. And that whole fight changed with Buday. We weren't even going to cover it, and we were headed in. And that fight, literally, that was changed on the fly. So by the time we got to the show, the Fight Club of Pain, we had to compensate. We had to learn Yuran Satibaldiev, right? So I think that was the best time I said it this whole episode. So that being said, again, look forward to the Fight Club of Pain this week. Look forward to Dr. Roto and Dr. Roto MSN. We're going to have a lot of draft previews. They're already coming out on the site, and they will be over on the MSN portion as that as well too. Get us over there, man. Get that. We just want to get them, We're on that site. We're trying to expand our horizon. All that content there is free. You're getting our free content there. And then, of course, everything else mostly is behind the paywall other than the podcast. Like this podcast is not behind the paywall, is behind it. But we're going to have another great week. And then next week, of course, because I'm on that, there's no fights for UFC that week. It's an off week, so there will be no Fight Club of Pain. So if you at least catch this, know that we will be on this Thursday, but next Thursday we will not. But that doesn't mean you can't watch that podcast of me talking about WrestleMania. And we will have a pop-up WrestleMania podcast once DraftKings puts their pool up. Again, we win money at this all the time. Last one was a little rough. We only had one of three of us scored money, but that's okay. That's okay. It was different. They're approaching different questions, trying to get it. So it's kind of almost like a pickup, and that gets really hard to get everything right. But hey, we're here to make money. We're here to tell you the best odds. Plus, we watch and with the power rankings every single week. I'm more dialed into wrestling than I ever been, and that is exactly who a lot of people know me for. They know me for this stuff. So get to Dr. Roto. Have a great day, everybody, and always remember to bring the pain. May the fights be with you. Let's slay it this week and take a week off next. Yeah! WrestleMania!
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. Until the next visit, be well and take care.